Good evening and welcome to the 1997 Spring Dream Team Banquet, brought to you by KREI, KTJJ, and KJFF Radio. Thank you. This year marks our 20th year of bringing you these banquets. Several years ago, in fact, we decided to expand on what we do by broadcasting the ceremony live on the radio on Super Radio J98. So in addition to welcoming the athletes, coaches, parents, and family members here tonight, we'd also like to welcome in our listening audience tuning in this evening. My name's Mark Tody. I'm the Program and Sports Director for the radio station. And as we get things started, I'd like to explain briefly how Dream Team works. You know, this really is a special event. Tonight we have 20 different schools from 8 counties represented at the banquet. That makes being selected to any of these elite squads we're going to introduce tonight a little bit more special, because we're covering about 150-mile radius, if you think about it, stretching from Bunker all the way to House Springs and Imperial. I think it goes without saying that any coach would love to have any of these teams that will be introduced tonight and take their chances from there. I know these athletes make our job at the radio station a lot easier and a heck of a lot more enjoyable. Well, what we do is we send out letters as we get into the season to all the area coaches, asking them to nominate players for the Dream Team for their particular sport. In addition to their statistics, we also ask that they include anything they're involved in outside of sports, like clubs, their grade point average, and different things like that. Then we organize all this and we send it out in the form of a ballot. Then the coaches are asked to nominate a certain number of players for the Dream Team. Players with the most votes make the team. Now, the player with the single most votes wins Player of the Year, and we also have a category for coaches, and the coach with the most votes is named our Coach of the Year. There's a lot of people that need to be thanked for helping us to put that this on tonight. They include everyone at Mineral Area College, thanks to President Dr. Dixie Cohn. In addition, Anna Hatridge is here. She's done a great job with us every time we've wanted to have the banquet here. She's really helped us out a lot, and we appreciate all her efforts. Other folks here tonight from Mineral Area College include MAC basketball coach Tim Gray and his assistant coach Charles Williams, who I believe defeated Tim earlier today in a game of one-on-one. Oh, that's not true? Oh, okay, sorry about that, Tim. Also, we want to introduce some of the people here at the radio station who work behind the scenes to help make our sports broadcasts possible. And here to do that is the sales manager at KREI, KTJJ, Connie Pfeiffer.
Well, there's a lot of people that it takes. We have a very large staff, and we're very proud of them. And I don't know if you realize this, but it's very important to us and to you, our listeners, and all the people that are involved here tonight, that we're able to broadcast the games and the things that you young people are involved with. It takes advertising sales to do that. And I think that we have an excellent sales department. And before you leave, you'll notice on the back of your program, there's many, many sponsors that were able to be a part of this, and were gracious enough to be a part of this tonight. If you get a chance, thank them, please. These people are bringing you the 1997 Spring Dream Team Banquet. And I'd like to introduce the sales staff. These people make it possible in order to have the funds to put these things on. And I'd like to ask them to stand up, please, as I introduce them, and then a few more people that I want you to be aware of that are behind the scenes working hard to help put these things on. Starting first with Kim Long. She's our assistant sales manager at the radio station. Kim's back there. By her is Lori McCormick. She works out of our Festus station. Please stay standing. I'm going to make you stand for a while. Okay, we have Patty McNeil with us tonight. Chuck Old. Where's Chuck? A lot of you probably know Chuck on the phone when you talk to him. Delina Cochran is also on our sales staff. Michael Braswell is new to our sales staff. And Kirk Mooney, Carla Whittier, Lisa Johnson, and Dan Miller is also on our staff. Couldn't be here tonight. I want to thank you for your fine efforts. people that do an awful lot of work with helping our programming department get out the ballots to the coaches. There's probably a lot of things that they do regarding the Dream Team that I'm even unaware of. But Indigo, would you please stand? She's part of our front office. She's a very important part of this Dream Team. Andrea Ortel. Andrea, where are you? Is Andrea here? Did she leave? And Joe Fletcher couldn't be with us tonight. We thank you for your efforts. Make sure. I understand we have Judy and Gloria here from Designer Travel. Are you still here? Would you stand up if you're here? Are they here? Thank you very much for being here. And we also have Dr. Corelli from St. Francis Dental Center, new to the area. Is Dr. Corelli here? Oh, welcome. Good morning. Very much.
There's some other people that help make our broadcasts possible, and we want to recognize them. First of all, Dick Womack is our station manager, and not only does he sign our checks, but he lets us do a lot of these sports broadcasts, so we want to thank him for several reasons. Dick, if you just... That's good enough. With our chief engineer, he's not here this evening, but he was here many hours today, and he does a lot of technical work to make sure we can get the best signal back to our radio station and out on the air. And without him, we couldn't do any of this. Kevin probably works more hours in a week than most people I know. My name goes out on a lot of the documents that the coaches receive, but if the truth is to be known, most of the work done on the banquet over the past several years has been done by Steve Bessemer. He puts in hours upon hours in getting this organized and out and back in so we can put on a quality banquet. This year he's been helped a lot by a newer member of our staff. Tom Wilkerson's here. Steve, are you anywhere? Yeah, there he is. And Tom Wilkerson's over here. He's going to be doing some interviews. Tom's proven himself to be a very valuable addition to our staff. Also here tonight from our programming staff is J.J. Vickers. Now, Tom is from DeSoto High School. I know a lot of the DeSoto folks know who he is. And J.J.'s from North County. And a couple of days ago, I was talking with the guys, and I said, does this really mean a lot to the students at Lynn Dream Team? And, well, they got into a running battle about it. They said, yes, it does, first and foremost. And neither one of those guys made the Dream Team, but they had a running battle for about a week as to who came closer to making the Dream Team. So finally, Steve said, I'll solve this. And he went back through the files and he saw, well, JJ got nominated, but Tom didn't, so Tom hasn't spoken about it since then. Now, we also have working for us Jenny Wolford. She's from Farmington High School. Now, Jenny did make the Dream Team. And she likes to remind Tom and JJ about that about once a week. Also, someone who just made it here this evening, another newer member of our staff, Jason Ratliff. He was covering a baseball game, and he just made it here. And we want to welcome him to the Dream Team banquet. And also Darren Mansfield, who's up in the control booth. Darren is the program director at KJFF Radio, and he's done a great job in there. Darren has spent several years helping Steve out with the banquet. Again, he's the program director there. He's come a long way since coming here as a young man from Wisconsin who worked our overnight shift. Well, anyway, we want to move on. We're not here to talk about the radio station or to recognize us. We're here to honor the athletes. So let's get things going. We begin with our girls basketball Dream Team. And here to make our first introduction is Denny Schaefer from Arcadia Valley High School.
First off, I would like to thank KTJJ for the coverage that they did for us this year. On behalf of Arcadia Valley High School and the Lady Tigers basketball team, we would like to congratulate Jennifer Miller and Kelly Smith on being selected to the KTJJ Dream Team. Both Kelly and Jennifer would like to thank their teammates this year for the successful season that they had and the fun that they had. First person, Jennifer Miller is a 6-foot junior. She's a daughter of Lynn and Cindy Miller. She's involved in various clubs and organizations at school. She has a grade point average of 3.3 out of 4. She's an MAAA scholar athlete. She's a member of National Honor Society. She's first team all conference, second year in a row. First team All-District, 3A, second year in a row for that. This is her second year to be selected to the basketball dream team. Some of her stats this year, she had 16 points, average, 10 boards, shot 51% from the field, 67% from the free throw line, and averaged 3 assists a game. Congratulations, Jennifer. And good thing, I'll have her back. I'm glad of that. Kelly Smith, 6-foot senior. She's the daughter of Patsy and the late Bernard Smith. She's also a member of National Honor Society and MAAA scholar athlete. She has a 3.7 grade point average out of 4. This year, she was first team all-conference, first team all-district, 3A. This is her first time being selected to the dream team. Her stats this year, 18 points a game, 9 boards, 60% from the field goal percentage and free throw line, and she had about 60 block shots in the game. She was our female athlete of the year at Arcadia Valley. She also won an Army Scholarship Athlete Award as a junior. She will be attending Three Rivers College next year on a basketball scholarship. Congratulations, Kelly.
Again, we ask that all our athletes stay up until the teams have been fully announced and we announce our player and coach of the years. Next up from Bismarck High School is Coach Gary McLeod.
It's with great pride and pleasure that I introduce Julie Faulkner. I would also like to introduce Julie's mother and father, Don and Debbie Faulkner. This is not a new experience for them. They had another daughter, Jill, that I think was a member of the dream team. This is Julie's second year as a selectee to the dream team, and they have a son that will be a junior next year, and there's a possibility, I guess, that they could come back with him because he's turning into a fine athlete also. Julie, with her selection to the dream team this year, really has concluded a dream season. She's a 5'7" senior, and she is signed a letter of intent here at Max, so she'll stay in the area to play next year. To give you a rundown of some of the honors that she has received in the past. Prior to this year, she had been selected all-conference 2 years in the MAAA. She was on the district all-tournament team 2 years prior to this. When I was thinking about how to present these, this presented a problem for me, and I finally decided I could do it this way. She has been selected for the past 3 years excuse me, to a competitor's all-star team of KRI, KTJJ, and in fact, she was that particular competitor's player of the year this year. I hope I handled that okay. She also was an all-district selection last year. This year, as a senior, she again was all-conference. She made the all-tournament team at the district tournament again. She was all-district. Obviously, she's here again as a dream team member. And to cap the year off, she was also selected as a first-team All-Stater in Class 2A. She has also been selected to play in the MPCA, the Missouri Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame game. 20 high school seniors this year selected to play in that game, which will be held in July in Springfield, Missouri. To give you some idea of her stats, she wound up as career, if not the leading scorer. We can't substantiate this because we don't have a record. We think she's probably the leading scorer in the history of the school of girls basketball. She ended with a career total of 1,837 points, which equates to a 19.3 career average. And most players in their high school career will not average that for 1 year. So it really is quite an accomplishment in terms of her scoring ability. This year she averaged 27.2 points per game, which I think probably led the area as scorers. She also pulled down 10.5 rebounds a game. She handed out 3.2 assists per game, which was down a little bit from last year. And you would think that's all she does is play volleyball or play basketball, but that's not correct. She's also an all-conference volleyball player. In addition to that, she's involved in a lot of other activities. She's been a cheerleader for 4 years. In fact, I think that probably her average might have been a little higher this year, but she was sick the first part of the year. When she finally got over that, she was doing a backflip and hyperextended her knee and went about 2 or 3 weeks trying to fight that. Once she finally got healthy, she really picked up her scoring. This year she had 2 ball games over 40 points and 2 very near 39 and 37. Also, getting back to other things, she's Pep Club president. She's the drum major of the band. She has been class officer all through high school. She's student council officer. She's been an all-district choir performer. She's had the lead in our musical as a freshman. It just goes on and on and on. In addition to that, she also carries a 3.36 GPA. So it's with great pleasure and pride, as I said, that I introduced Julie. It's also with great fear and trepidation when I think about going to be coaching next year without her. But we will find some way of compensating for this. Congratulations, Julie.
Next up is Tracy Edgar from Bunker. They had a pretty good year this year.
Thanks. I'd like to introduce Amanda Ritter. She's had a very fine 4 years at Bunker, and as he said, contributed to quite a bit of our success. She was all-conference for 4 years. She made all-district 3 years, and 1 year honorable mention. Her last 2 years, she was second team All-State. She was also, her last 2 years, Black Relief Player of the Year. She's what I like to call a coach's player. She listens, first of all, and she does everything she can to do what at least she thinks that you expect out of her. She plays both ends of the court. She knows that her defensive ability, which I always put her on the opponent team stud to stop them, she knows that's just as much important to our success as her offense as well. And of course, the other teams, they usually key on her to try to stop her, and she's willing to give the ball up, which she had, I believe it was 5.9 assists per game as well. Some other of her stats, she averaged 15.2 points per game. She had 5.3 rebounds, shot 76% from the free throw line, 45% from the field. So she's just pretty good all-around player. She can do it all. She plays a lot of positions too for me. If we need a point guard and have trouble getting the ball down the court, she can do it. Need her inside, she can do it. She also is a very smart young lady as well. She's valedictorian of our class. She got a 3.9 grade point average, and she's going to go on to play basketball at East Central. And I wish her a lot of success there, as much as she had. Thank you.
Our next school represented on our girls basketball dream team is DeSoto High School. To make that introduction, we have Robert Bradshaw.
Good evening. I'd like to introduce Jamie Miller tonight. And to say that Jamie had an outstanding career would kind of be an understatement. So I'm going to run some of these stats and things by you, and I have some other things I'd like to say at the end, so if I get going too long, I apologize. I'm not really going to go that long, I just said that. Now, Jamie finished her career with 2,363 points, the all-time leading girls scorer in DeSoto. She finished with 809 career rebounds, 523 assists, and 431 steals. She also was Jefferson County Conference Large School MVP 3 times. She was first team All-Conference 4 times. She was a Dream Team player 4 times. She was second team All-State 2 times. First team All-Metro 2 times. She'll also play in the Hall of Fame game this year in Springfield. She was academic All-State this year, and she was Post-Dispatch Scholar Athlete, not of the year, but she's in the top 10, which is a very good honor. And really, none of those things really describe Jamie very well, because she's about more than basketball. And I think that's what sets her apart from a lot of people. I know a lot of other coaches in this room will say the same things about the kids that they introduced tonight. And I say this very sincerely. In today's world, we have very few athletes that are role models. We have people that spit in faces, and we have basketball players that wear dresses. The kids that are here tonight are excellent role models. And I have two girls, one that's 5 years old and the other is 1.5. And if they can turn out to be half as good of people as Jamie is, good Christians, good students, good athletes, I'll be very happy, because I'm extremely proud of her, even though I had very little to do with her success. She had most to do with her and her parents. And so it's just a great honor to be able to coach her, and it's a great honor to be able to work at DeSoto with some of the athletes that they have there. Thank you very much.
Next up, we'd like to introduce Lonnie Sheldon from Fredericktown High School.
Thank you, Mark. It's my pleasure to introduce a young lady who's been a very large part of our program in Fredericktown the last 4 years, Miss Lindsay Merrill. Lindsay's a 6'2" center. Her parents are Lori and Larry Merrill, and Lindsay is a very variety athlete. She does a lot of things in clubs and so on. Like Rob said just now, I'd like to mention a few of those things without trying to get too long. She's the band president and drum major. She's a beta club treasurer, science club president, math club vice president, student council president, member of the Buddy, Varsity, and Pep Club. And while she's not doing all that, she's also number 2 in her class with a 4.34 grade average out of a 4. That you math people might find that a little confusing, as I did first, but they have weighted classes, and that means she made A's in everything, even in the classes that are weighted a little higher. She's been the co-captain for both the volleyball and basketball teams. She's been a Dream Team member the last 3 seasons in basketball, and this year she was also a Dream Team member in volleyball. This past season, she averaged 19.7 points per game, 11.9 rebounds per game. She had 122 blocked shots, probably altered about another 300 or 400 if I could have kept a stat like that. She had a field goal percentage of 56% from the floor. She's second on the team with assists, which I think is remarkable when you have a 6'2" center that is second on your team with assists. She has scored in her high school career 1,546 points, which is second all-time in our school. She's been named All-Conference in volleyball the past 2 seasons. She's a member of the All-District team also this past season, and this year was named All-Regional. In basketball, she's been named All-Conference in 95, 96, and 97. All-District those same years, 95, 96, and 97. And this past season, she was an academic All-State member. She was also a second team All-State in 3A classification. It's been a true pleasure to coach Lindsay. Following some of the guidelines that some of the other coaches have said, you know, if you had someone that you wanted to pattern your kid after or someone that they could look up to, Lindsay's definitely that person. It's my pleasure to introduce the representative of Fredericktown, Ms. Lindsay Merrill.
Next up, from Herculaneum High School, we have Stan Helms. Coach, these guys look a lot different than those football players you're used to. And their grades are much better, too. First of all, it's my pleasure to be here and introduce our Dream Team athlete tonight, Miss Katie Gilom. She's the daughter of Ken and Sherry Gilom. I had Katie starting out in junior high in art class in junior high, and at that time I knew that she was going to be just a terrific young lady and represent our school in a lot of different ways, because even at that young age, I could tell that she was dedicated to her studies and to being the best that she could be at whatever she tried to do. And it's just been a real pleasure to have her at our school and represent us. Some of the things Katie's accomplished: she was Post-Dispatch Scholar Athlete, along with Jamie, which we really thought was great with our Jefferson County athletes this year. She was also in the top 10 Scholar Athletes in the St. Louis area. She's valedictorian of our class with a 4.0 grade point average. She was KMOX Student of the Week. She's been All-State basketball player for 2 years. Her total career points are 1,994. Total career rebounds are 1,147. She holds all of our school records in scoring and rebounding. This is her 3rd year she's been selected to the Dream Team. She was Player of the Year last year as a junior. She's been All-Metro Volleyball MVP of the conference. She participated on our boys golf team. We didn't have a girls team, so she just went out and showed the boys how to play. She's a member of Trend, FCA, Varsity Letterman's Club, Science Club, and National Honor Society. Katie's going to attend Washington University next year and major in biology, and she's going to be playing volleyball for Coach Clemens on their 7-time national championship volleyball team. And like all of these young ladies up here, she's just a terrific young lady. And the one thing Coach Bradshaw said, he had two daughters. Well, I have 2 boys, and I just wish that they were a little older, maybe they could date Katie or something. Thank you very much. First edition of the dating game during the Dream Team banquet. Thanks, Coach. Our next school representative is Maryville High School. And Coach Francis, come on up and let us know who you have on the team.
Thank you, Mark. My comments tonight will be brief, but in no way is it a measure of how important Dina Schumer has been to the Lady Pirates basketball program. Dina was our team captain this year of the 20-8 Lady Pirates basketball team. Dina averaged 13 points and 8 rebounds, and she was probably one of the best defensive players in our conference this year. Dina is the daughter of Jim and Belinda Schumer and will be playing basketball next season at Jefferson Junior College. Congratulations, Dina.
Our next school representative is Valley R6 High School, and here to introduce their athlete is Coach Bill Farr.
Coach Crocker couldn't be here tonight because he's in charge of the district baseball at Valley, but I couldn't be more pleased to be here to introduce this next athlete because I've been part of the basketball program at Valley ever since she started as a freshman. Carrie Hardison started varsity as a freshman, and coincidentally, Valley's winning season started that year. Carrie's been part of 4 district championship games in which they have won 3. I guess the best example of her determination that sticks in my mind is last year at the district tournament, we were down by a point. She was fouled with 5 seconds left. She turned to the bench and yelled, "I can do it," and she did. We ended up winning by 1 point. Carrie's received every honor an athlete can receive, from being a unanimous pick to the all-conference team to being named all-state player not once but twice. She led the team in points with a school record for 4 years of just over 1,700 points. And this year shot 54% from the field. Like many others here tonight, she's not just an athlete. She ranked 6th in her class and has carried an A- average through her high school career. With all the recognition Carrie has received as a high school player, it was highlighted a few weeks ago when Coach Bradley asked her to come play for him in the Lady Cardinals next year. So it was a great honor that I am able to introduce the daughter of Rick and Debbie Hardison, Carrie, as one of KTJJ's Dream Team players.
Our final school represented on our Dream Team tonight, girls basketball Dream Team, is Windsor High School. And do we have Coach Alders here? Well, come on down. He's got baseball. It's my pleasure to introduce you. Our last member of our Dream Team is Andrea Hagley. She's a junior from Windsor High School. She averaged 18.1 points per game this season. She was a member of the all-conference team, a member of the art and young ladies of the church club, and a member of the volleyball and soccer teams. She's the daughter of Donna and Tom Hagley. How about a nice round of applause for Andrea Hagley from Windsor High School? Now, we don't want you to sit down just yet, girls, but please, how about one final round of applause for the entire team? Now we'd like to announce our Girls Basketball Player of the Year. Our Girls Basketball Player of the Year has broken numerous school records. She's the school's all-time leading scorer with 2,363 points and hit a record 16 field goals against Eureka as a junior. She averaged 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists per game this season. She was the Jefferson County Conference Player of the Year, a first-team All-Metro pick, and second-team All-State selection. She's been a 4-year starter in the varsity program. She'll continue her basketball career with Southwest Baptist Missouri University in Missouri, and she is our first 4-year Dream Team selection. Our KREI, KTJJ, KJFF Girls Basketball Dream Team Athlete of the Year is the daughter of John and Sherry Miller. She's Jamie Miller of DeSoto High School. Our Girls Basketball Coach of the Year helped to lead his team to the quarterfinal round of the state tournament. Not only did his team win districts and sectionals, but they also won the MAAA conference title and conference tournament. The Coach of the Year has been a head varsity girls coach for 14 years. He's coached 3 years as a JV boys coach, 3 years as a junior high coach, compiling a 221 and 132 overall record. He's grabbed 2 district championships, 3 conference championships, already has 1 Dream Team Coach of the Year award, and has been named District Coach of the Year 3 times. Our KREI, KTJJ, KJFF Girls Basketball Coach of the Year is married to Mary Jo and has 3 kids. He's Lonnie Sheldon from Fredericktown High School.
Oh, boy. When I get my paper out here, I'd like to have this crew. Anywhere they like to go, I'd like to coach them. That would be a great pleasure. I'd first like to thank KTJJ and get all these letters, KREI, KJFF. They do a great job each year recognizing the kids, and coaches realize that's what it's all about. I hope that it's the kids that we're in it for and we get the enjoyment from, and it's a great pleasure and we really appreciate them. I'd like to thank my family. We have a lot of nights. If you haven't ever been with a coach, you don't have any idea how many nights you're out, how many nights you're scouting, how many nights you're looking at film, how many nights you're eating supper at 11 o'clock, and really need to thank my family, Mary Jo, my wife, and my kids. Most of all, I need to thank my players. Lindsay, along with some others, have been with me 4 years and have just done an excellent job. They've learned every year, they've improved every year, and it makes it easy for a coach. When you have players with her ability and some of the other ones we have, it makes it a much easier job for the coaches, along with the fact that they have the desire to win, which is something great. And we had 6 seniors this year, and I want to mention them because that's what you build your team around generally is your seniors, and we had a good batch of them, and I appreciate each one of them, and thank you very much.
Year to go with Tom over here to my right, but other than that, one more round of applause for our girls basketball team. We'd like to move on now and continue with our boys basketball dream team. And making our first presentation is Chad Starkey from Arcadia Valley High School.
I'd like to thank KTJJ for their coverage this year and support of our program. I'm proud to introduce to you Brian Foster. Brian is the son of Danny and Linda Foster of Arcadia Valley. And Brian in his career scored over 1,800 points, and that averages out to about 20 points a game over a 4-year career, which is quite an accomplishment. He also started every game at Arcadia Valley for the last 4 years. This season, he averaged 24 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, and 3 steals per game, and also shot 63% from the field, while leading us to a 21-7 record. And he probably averaged at least 1 dunk a game. If you got to see AV play this year, you knew there was always a chance for a slam dunk, and he had the crowd standing to their feet quite a few times. Excuse me. Some of his accomplishments include MAAA All-Conference for 3 years, All-District as a junior and senior, and this is his 2nd time as KTJJ Dream Team member, and his future plans are to play basketball for Three Rivers College next year. I'm pleased to introduce Brian Foster.
Our next school representative is Bismarck High School, and here to make that presentation is Lance Sprinkle.
Thanks, Mark. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you a young man who makes coaching seem easy, Larry Goodman. This past year, Larry averaged 22 points a game, and he pulled down 10 rebounds. In addition to this, Larry has demonstrated great leadership, not through his speaking, but through his actions on the floor. In practice, I never had to watch Larry because Larry was always giving me 100% at all times, in practice and in the games. His postseason honors include MAAA All-Conference District Tournament team, and he was also selected to the district team. He has been named MVP of Bismarck for the last 3 years. Tonight in attendance with Larry is his mother and father, Larry and Allison Goodman, and another basketball player, his younger brother, Brian.
who I'd also like to thank his parents for the support that they've given the last couple of years. Once again, congratulations to Larry and all the nominees. Thank you.
Next up is Crystal City High School, and I believe Chris shall have someone he'll be introducing.
Thank you. It's quite an honor to be a part of this ceremony, and especially to introduce a fine name like Nathan Riding. Nathan is the son of Alvin Riding of Crystal City. Nathan is very active in school. He's a member of the National Honor Society, the conflict mediation team, the mentoring team, senior class vice president, and he's also been one of the student of the month at Crystal City. His basketball accomplishments include first team all conference for 3 years, first team all district for 2, second team all metro for 2 years. He was a second team all state member in class 2A this year. He was also recognized as Jefferson County Small School Conference Most Valuable Player. He was just recently named the Suburban Journal Jefferson County Male Athlete of the Year. He will be attending MAC this fall on a basketball scholarship, and it's I know Coach Gray is quite happy with that one, as well as I am. I get to come down and watch him play. As Coach Bradshaw mentioned earlier about the type of people that we get to be around, Nathan, in my mind, exemplifies what the true student athlete is all about. He makes my job very easy on the court. He has a lot of skills that can't be taught. He will be sorely missed at Crystal City, partly because of his ability, but mostly because of his character. He is a fine, fine role model, and it's my privilege to have you call me coach.
Next up is the coach at a school that's represented more years than not on our Dream Team banquet, Alan Davis from DeSoto.
Thank you. It's an honor to honor this next selectee to the Dream Team, Brian Bergen, son of Frank and Della Bergen. Activities that Brian's involved in is basketball, basketball, and basketball. I've had Brian involved around me for the last 4 years, and it's been a pleasure. Some of the things he's done for us at DeSoto High School, his career total points are 1,547. His scoring average this year was 28.4. He broke the school record with the most points scored in a game at 49. Points in a single season, 741. Season rebounding average 10. Field goal percentage, three-point line and beyond, I should say beyond twice, 44%. His assist average, what the heck, why pass the ball? You got a kid like Brian, just tell him to keep shooting. Some of the other things that Brian has done this year is he was all-tournament team at Cocoa Classic, first team all-conference for 2 years, first team all-district South, second team all-metro, second team all-state in 4A. Last year he was Dream Team Player of the Year in 1996. And next year he'll be playing for Tim Gray and the Mac Cardinals. It's been quite a privilege to be involved with Brian, and I wish him luck. Thank you.
Coach Gray, Brian wanted me to remind you what the coach just said about just letting him shoot a lot.
No problem.
Our next school represented on the boys basketball Dream Team is Lesterville. Here's Coach Mike Baker.
It's with great pride, and as a friend, I would like to present Gabe Gray to the Dream Team. Some of Gabe's accomplishments, he is the school's all-time leading scorer. I've only been in coaching for 3 years, and Gabe's been on the floor every time I've stepped on the floor, whether it's been basketball camp or starting in the regular season games. He started every game for me, which I think, I take it as an accomplishment for me as well as him. Like I said, he's the all-time leading scorer at Lesterville. This year he averaged over 24 points a ball game. Some of his accomplishments over his career: all-conference player 3 years, Black River League Player of the Year this year, all-district player this year. He set a single-game scoring record this year in the Arcadia Valley Tournament, scoring 46 points in our first game of the season. it's with great honor and great pleasure to consider Gabe as one of my basketball players, but as well as one of my friends. Gabe is the son of Skip and Jenna Gray and Paul and Gary Barton. It was my pleasure to present you on the Dream Team.
Next up from North County High School, a good friend of our radio station, Bill Martin.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce P.J. Jones, 6'3" senior from North County High School. I've coached P.J. for 4 years, and I still don't know what P.J. stands for. Except for this, I think he's the greatest rebounder that's ever been around this area. I know he is at North County High School, so I think that's what P.J. stands for rebounding. P.J. is the son of Phil Jones and Debbie Jones of Limoges. And I'd like to thank his parents and his grandparents. He's got some grandparents here tonight. They're very supportive of him and have been throughout the years. You look at the ball games and you always see them there. And they're not only supportive of him, they're supportive of all the athletes there. So I wanted to say a special thank you to them. PJ is very involved at North County High School. He's a member of our National Honor Society. He's a member of the Letterman's Club. He's in the top 20% of the class. And he's a cadet teacher. And if you look at him, a big, strong kid, you'd think he was a cadet teacher in PE, but that's not right. He's a cadet teacher for kindergartners. And he is definitely the kindergartner's favorite cadet teacher. PJ is involved in a lot of sports. He's on the varsity football team. He's been all conference for several years, all district. This year he was all state. He played on 4 conference championship teams with them, district championship, and a Final Four team with them. PJ is a varsity baseball player. I'll get into that a little bit more later, a great baseball player. Now about his basketball. He was one of the leaders on a team that was 22-4, an undefeated conference championship team, Farmington Tournament Championship, and PJ was a do-it-all player for us. He averaged 17 points a game. He averaged 11 rebounds a game, 2 steals, 2 assists. Shot 70% from the free throw line and 54% from the field goal. He was all district this year, as he's been for the past 3 years, all conference for 3 years, and this is his 3rd year on the Dream Team. He's made several all tournament teams and all radio teams. PJ's a very unselfish player for us, along with other things. He's averaged 16 points and 11 rebounds for his entire career. He's a career scoring leader in North County with 1,372 points and the career rebound leader in offensive, defensive, and a single game rebounding record of 24. He has a total of 894 rebounds. One game this year, I saw a coach that had coached a couple of state championship teams, and he came up and talked to me after the game. We won the game, you know, and he was bragging on the team a little bit, you know, and I said, well, thanks a lot, Coach, for coming to see our team play. And he said, well, I hate to tell you this, but I really didn't come to see your team play. I came to watch that guy rebound. He was talking about PJ. PJ has been offered several college scholarships. He has accepted a football and baseball scholarship to Southwest Missouri State. He was offered a basketball scholarship to North County High School for 1 more year. He said he'd have to go on down to Southwest Missouri. I'm very proud of him. This is kind of sad for me because this is my last time at PJ. But as the coach from Lesterville said, I've made a great friend for life. So I'm very proud of him, P.J. Jones.
Perryville was represented on our girls basketball dream team. Perryville's also represented on our boys basketball dream team. We bring Rick Francis up for an encore edition.
Thank you. As Bruce and Scott come down here, it's obvious to the folks here why Perryville was so successful this year. As a 6'8", 6'11", look over my shoulder here. First of all, let me make some comments regarding Bruce. Bruce is a member of our varsity club, FBLA, PSI club. Bruce is also an honor roll student at PHS. As far as basketball this season, Bruce was on the Woodland All-Tournament team, the Chester All-Tournament team. He was first team All-District, first team Jefferson All-Conference. Bruce averaged 13 points a game. Shooting field goal percentage was 62%. Had the school record for dunks. He had 20 this season. I enjoyed every one of them. Played in all 31 of our games. Had 227 rebounds this season. He is a 3-year letterman, and Bruce will be attending the University of Akron, a Division I school in Akron, Ohio. And Bruce is the son of Mike and Linda Wycott. Congratulations. Scott Castle is on the varsity club. He is a member of National Honor Society. He also is an honor roll student. Scott was named to the Woodland All-Tournament team, the Chester All-Tournament team. He was voted on by our basketball players as Mr. Basketball. He was a leading scorer on our team at 18.5 points per game. Had the highest field goal percentage at 67%. Second highest point total for one season in Perryville history. He also played in all 31 games. He had the highest three-point field goal percentage, shooting 40 three-pointers this year, 6'8", and was our highest three-point shooting field goal percentage shooter. So I thought that was outstanding for his size. School record for the most rebounds in a year, 304 rebounds. He was all district, all conference, and all state. He is a 3-year letterman, and Scott will attend on athletic scholarship to play basketball at Lewis and Clark Junior College in Alton, Illinois. And Scott is the son of Brandy and Barbara Cassidy.
Next up is a gentleman who always makes us feel welcome when we come to broadcast a sporting event at St. Vincent High School. We'd like to introduce Bruce Valeroy.
First of all, on behalf of St. Vincent High School, I'd like to thank KTJJ for all the coverage they do for us in all our sports. It's been a privilege for the last 4 years to coach this young man. He is Jonathan Wangert, the son of Mike and Terry Wangert. He has had a great career at St. Vincent's. He's made all-state in football, all-conference, all-district first team the last 2 years in boys basketball. He's been all-conference, all-district in baseball. And this year, he's a 3-sport KTJJ Dream Teamer in basketball, football, and baseball. For boys basketball, this young man has left a mark in the history books at St. Vincent's. He is the second leading all-time scorer in school history, behind his dad. This year, he scored the second most points in one season in school's history at 519 points. He also averaged 20.6 points per game this year, the best scoring average in one season in school's history. He also averaged 6 steals per game, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. He's also the student council president, an honor roll student. He's been the athlete of the year the last 2 years at St. Vincent's. He was our MVP in boys basketball the last 2 years. And it is my honor to introduce Jonathan Wangert.
Next up from West County High School, we'd like to introduce Steve Schofield. He has a player he'd like to announce for this year's Dream Team.
I'd like to thank KTJJ for their coverage and for having us here. I'd like to introduce you to Jason Wilder. He's a 5'9" senior, son of Mark and Michelle Wilder. Jason has a 9-point grade point average. We're on a scale of 11. He's 10th in his class of 55, an MAAA scholar athlete, and December Student of the Month at West County. Jason's a big reason West County had its first winning season in 23 years and its first district title in 49 years. Jason was the team MVP voted by his teammates, all Southeast District, and made the all-district tournament team at Crystal City. A very dedicated player. Jason did not miss a practice this year, and I figured from the end of his junior year to the end of the basketball season this season, Jason put in about 300 hours between the weight room and the gym. Jason scored in double figures, 26 of 27 games, scored 30 or more 3 times. He averaged 20.8, shot 49% overall, 38% from the three-point line, 77% from the free-throw line, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 assists. Jason will attend college next year and major in accounting, but he has not decided which college he will attend. I want to thank Jason for all his hard work and thank his parents for all their support. Jason also wants to thank Don and Claudette Orr. Don Orr is the principal at West County. He wants to thank them for their support. Thank you very much.
How about a round of applause for our entire team? Now we'd like to announce our Player of the Year. Our boys basketball Player of the Year helped to lead his team through a stretch of 20 straight wins. He was the leading scorer in his conference, second leading scorer in the St. Louis metro area, and the second leading scorer in the state. He broke school records for most points in a game with 48, most three-pointers in a game with 12, most three-pointers in a season with 100, and the highest scoring average in school history at 27.4 points per game. He was the JCC Conference Player of the Year, a second-team All-State selection. He's been a 4-year contributor to the varsity program, a 3-year starter. He signed a letter of intent to play basketball next year with the Mineral Area College Cardinals. He was our Dream Team Player of the Year in 1996. That makes him one of only 4 players to win this award in consecutive seasons. His father is Frank Bourbon, the KREI, KTJJ, KJFF Boys Basketball Dream Team Player of the Year is Brian Bourbon from DeSoto High School. Moving on to coach, our boys basketball coach of the year helped to lead his team to one of its most successful seasons ever this past year. Not only did his team win the district title, but they were also one of the most exciting groups to watch this year. The coach of the year has spent some time learning and teaching in Illinois. In fact, he attended high school in Quincy. He went on to attend John Wood Community College and Quincy College. This coach has been a teacher in school districts like Steelville, Illinois, and Webster Groves, Brashear, and Valley Park in Missouri. And this season, his 3rd at West County, he watched his team win the school's first district basketball title in nearly 50 years. He's married. His son's name is Brad. The KREI, KTJJ, KJFF Boys Basketball Coach of the Year is Steve Schofield from West County High School.
Oh boy. Unexpected honor. First, I don't even know where to start. I want to thank my players. Jason, I have 4 other seniors that are going to graduate Friday night. I told the coach the other day, you know, usually you're just happy they're graduated and they're gone. This is 4, or 5, I'm really going to be sorry to see go. My other 4 seniors are Josh Gormley, Jared Crane, Nick Mullins, David Wallace, and of course Jason Wilder. Also want to thank Don Orr, principal of West County, for all his support. I want to thank my wife, coaches, as Coach Shelton said earlier, gone a lot. It's been a tough year on my wife, even though we won. She's 5 months pregnant, due September 1st, and it's been a long time for her. You know, a lot of times the wives have to play Mr. Dad, and I really want to thank you, her, for all her support. Also, all the coaches here. There's so many good coaches here. I wish some of them let me beat them once in a while. I just want to thank everybody. I appreciate all the good words you've given us, even when times were bad. And I also want to thank KTJJ for all their support. And thank you very much.
Again, our boys 1996-97 basketball dream team.
Brian, we need you to go over there for an interview real quick. Good.
We want to move on now to another winter sport that we like to recognize, and that is wrestling. We have our 1996-97 wrestling dream team, and our first school to be represented is DeSoto High School. And here we come. Bob Georgia will make a presentation there.
You know, Alan's
Ron's been telling me he's awesome. So's Coach Bradshaw, and I see today you really are. You guys are great. Good job today.
Oh, that's Ryan Seltzer.
I'm here to introduce this next young man. I've known him for quite a long period of time. He had an older brother that wrestled for me. We followed in his footsteps. And has wrestled the last 4 seasons for me. He has a grand total of 107 wins, 25 losses. He's wrestled 4 different weight classes. This season, he was 39-2. He lost 2 matches in the state tournament. His last match to put him in 4th for the 145-pound weight class in 3A. He was a district champion. He won every tournament other than the state tournament this season. One of his highlights for the year wasn't the state tournament, I don't think. It was the 4-time first placer at the St. Genevieve tournament, first time that I'm aware of it. I was pretty proud of him that day. Excuse me. What else here? He has plans, or he's been talking about going to school at Lindenwood, which makes me kind of happy. I hope that works out. He leads a team in most wins, 4-year career, most pins this season. Started out at a 103-pound weight class 4 years ago for me. I saw him when he was knee-high to a grasshopper, competing in the little league programs during the summer. Mr. Seltzer, Ryan Seltzer, his parents, Jim and Alexis Seltzer. Ryan? Well, here's another reason why I know time goes by a lot quicker than you really think sometimes. Our next coach is Mark Krause from Farmington High School, and it's been, I think, about 12 years ago that I interviewed Mark, and he was on our football dream team, and now here he is, a veteran coach with 2 wrestlers on this year's squad.
I start off and thank the radio station for giving us a lot of support. Tournaments usually end up late at night, and they're usually calling me before I even get home, leaving a message, want me to call and get the results in. So it's nice for people always say they get the results on the radio and see how the kids did. The state tournament, they do up-to-date hourly from the state tournament, so it's nice to get those results back to people that want to hear about it. It's my honor to introduce 2 guys. The first one, a few years ago, he came in as a freshman, played football for me. Talked to him about wrestling. He'd never done it, and didn't know if I'd ever get him out. I had to pretty much beg him to get him out there. Now that he's done it, it's hard to get him off the mat. He's there all the time. He works throughout the summer, through the spring with their club. Wrestles all the time. He goes to tournaments. They just got back from Orlando a few weeks ago, wrestling in a tournament. Wrestled at Purdue University last weekend. So he's all over and loves it. So I'm really glad he made that decision to come out. He's not only a great athlete, he has a 3.3 GPA. He's ranked 69th out of 285 in his class. National Honor Society student, scholar athlete. He's also a 3-sport letterman in football and track also this year. As far as his statistics this season, he's had a great season. It's unbelievable that he's only been wrestling for 2 years. Last year he finished 2nd in the state, and I don't think that was enough for him, so he worked harder. He pushed himself even harder and worked to improve on that this year. This year, going into the sectional finals, he was undefeated. Ended up having a setback. It's only one of the year. He lost a close match. Maybe he was questionable in some people's eyes, but he handled it wonderfully. He a lot better than most people would have. He just made him more determined, I think, and he went to the state tournament and ended up having his closest match being 14 points. And he won the state tournament and this year's state champ at 112 pounds. Finished the season at 38-1. But I'm sorry, he moved up a weight class this year. 119. TJ moved up too. Okay. Also, last weekend, I'd like to mention, like I said, he wrestled at Purdue University last weekend. Esquire Nationals. Esquire is a 20-year-old age group and below. So he's wrestling a lot of college people and wrestling people out of high school. And finished as an All-American in both styles, Greco and freestyle. Josh Buchanan. My other Dream Team member is a 3-time Dream Team member. He's only a junior this year, so we're going to get him back next year also.
can't miss him when you see him. Once you see him once, he kind of stands out in the crowd. But when he first came in as a freshman, nobody would believe that he could do what he does. And I don't know if he did when he first came in. He probably did, but that's why he does what he does. Because of the confidence and because of the experience he has. He's had an amazing career already, and he's only had 3 years. He's still got another one to come back. This year he finishes the season at 40-0, his second undefeated season in a row. His freshman year was kind of shabby. He was only 33-3. Finished as a state champ his freshman year, state champ his sophomore year, and a state champion again this year. Just some records. I'm not going to list all the records he has at the high school. He breaks almost every record we have there already as a junior, and this year he broke another record. If anybody knows anything about wrestling, takedown is one of the ways of scoring in wrestling. Our old record before he came to our high school was 79 for a whole season. He had 279 or 78 this year. So that's an amazing feat already. And we got another year to try to improve on that. Three-time conference champ, 3-time district champ, 2-time sectional champ, 3-time state champion. Next year, we'll try to be only the 6th person in the history of Missouri to be a 4-time state champion. He was conference wrestler of the year, 2-time district wrestler of the year. 2-time he was this year and last year he was picked as 3A's wrestler of the year. Last year he was picked as first team A6 All-American. One person out of everybody in the nation at his weight class at 102 pounds, he was first team All-American. Just a few other things on top of that. It's amazing when you talk about some of these statistics, you think about a kid doing this, but then there's more on top of this. On the national level, he is a 2-time cadet national champion, a 3-time junior national champion, a 2-time Esquire champion. Again, that's 20-year-old and below. He just did that last weekend. And by doing that, he earned himself a spot on the USA team, which he also had last year. He wrestled in Russia in the World Championships and finished 4th in the world at his weight class. This year, he gets a chance to travel to Finland and compete with the junior world team again in the World Championships this year in August. TJ Hill.
I talk to Mark about once every 2 weeks on the phone. Believe it or not, his voice is getting better. That's good. Our next school representative on our wrestling dream team is Northwest High School. I didn't see you were up. Fisher's here. Cool.
Thank you, and yes, I am here. I'd like to thank the radio station for putting this on and for feeding such a fine meal. I'm presenting Ricky Stark. He's the son of Rick and Karen Stark. I'd also like to congratulate all the rest of the members of the Dream Team. I know all these kids. I've seen them wrestle, and they are very, very good wrestlers. On Ricky, besides all of his wrestling accolades, he has several other accolades from school, and I'm going to list some of the things some of the things he belongs to and what he does there. He has a 3.9 GPA. He's a member of the Blue Alpha Theta team, club. He is very involved in several other activities like Honor Society. He is captain of the FCA. He's the president of the Student Council. He's the football captain. He was all-conference linebacker, first team all-conference linebacker, 3rd team all-conference fullback. He also plays volleyball, or he played it last year. This year he played golf. He probably could have played baseball as well as soccer. I'm thankful that he chose wrestling to go with. I've enjoyed the ride that Ricky has kind of taken me on mainly to dinners like we had tonight. Last week I went to a dinner at Post-Dispatch, Scholar Athlete dinner. I don't know if there's any more coming up, but I'll have to check. As far as wrestling awards, he is a 3-time sectional champion, 2-time district champion. He took 2nd in the state of Missouri 2 times in the last 2 years. He's a 3-time state qualifier. He was a member of the All-Metro team. He has 100 career wins. This is his 2nd year of being on the Dream Team. And as mentioned a while ago, he was a Postal Dispatch Scholar athlete, and he has gone on an academic scholarship to Southwest Missouri State University. Last year when I was up here, it was easy, and I was feeling pretty good because I knew he would be back for one more year. This year, I'm not so excited because he will not be back next year, and I'm going to have to pick somebody, and I'm going to have to drive awful hard to fill his shoes, which probably will not be able to happen, but that poor guy's having it pretty rough. Pretty start.
Next up from St. Genevieve High School, Bill Howard.
It's my honor to present two members of the KTJJ Dream Team tonight. One of the things that we need to mention, I think, as far as wrestling is concerned, how important parents are in the wrestling arena. One of the young men who I'm going to introduce tonight is Clint Woke, who wrestled for me at 103. I'm going to mention that he's a freshman, but this freshman probably came to me with more experience than most of our varsity wrestlers. His parents moved him all over the country. He has had more mat time than any young man I've ever received as a freshman. He is the son of Mike and Sharon Woke. He has a GPA of 10.5714 on a rank of 11. He's ranked 6th out of 191. He's the type of young man that you truly love to see move into your program. He is a member of the FFA and the Student Council. In wrestling this year as a freshman, he stepped in and took over the 103-pound weight class. It was his from the moment he came out. He wound up with a 29-3 record with 12 pins. He was first in the Union Tournament, fourth in the Tiger Classic, first in the Murdale Tournament, first in the St. Genevieve Tournament, second in the SEMO Conference, first in district. He was first in District 3A, District number 1. He was first in the 3A sectional number 1. And at the state tournament, I mentioned the fact that he was probably the calmest young man I'd ever had to the state tournament, especially for a freshman. When we finally got into the finals, I looked around and I finally saw him nervous. He was shaking a little bit. He was on the floor by himself, and I walked over and we stood and talked for a few minutes. His mother had taken his younger brother and traveled from Columbia back to St. Louis to a wrestling tournament that morning, and his folks were not there at that time. Just before the tournament finally got started into the finals, I pointed up in the stands and says, "There comes the folks down the steps." Calm down immediately. Just another statement of how much parents mean to these young men. Calmed down immediately, went out and won the state championship at 103 pounds. Clint Woke. Crutches have nothing to do with wrestling, by the way. My second introduction is Corey Nugent, a senior this year. Again, you never replace your seniors, you just go on and try to find someone else to work. One of the things that I'm extremely glad of is I've got promises from both his parents that I don't have to replace them. Again, they're a big part of our wrestling program. Bob and Cindy Nugent have supported our program with two young men who have been outstanding young men, an older brother to Corey, and then Corey. Corey's been a 4-year letterman for me. He is a member of the FFA, the FHA, Science Alliance, Student Council, French Club, Honor Society, cross country. He plays golf. He has a GPA of 9.5918 out of a rank of 11. He is 27th out of 164 in his class. He's been an outstanding wrestler for me for 4 years. He did remind me that as a freshman, I forced him to wrestle on the varsity. He was pretty happy on the JV, but after that, he's come along and fought his way through every one of them. This year, he wound up with a record of 30-3 with 15 pins. Again, a 4-year letterman. He was first in the Union Tournament this year, second in the Tiger Classic, first in the Murdale Tournament, first in the St. Genevieve Invitational, first in the SEMO Conference Tournament, first in 3A District number 1, first in 3A Sectional number 1. In the state tournament, he wound up 4th after a great 4 years. Corey Nugent.
How about a nice round of applause for our 1990. Next up, we move to our girls track dream team. And our first school representative is DeSoto High School, Charles Campbell, with that introduction.
This young lady's never had a takedown. She's never shot a three-pointer. Boy, can she run for us. This is just a dog. Not only is she a great runner, but she's been involved in just about everything in our school system. She's a member of our student council, a member of the National Junior Honor Society, a member of the Honor Society, Foreign Language Club, Math Club, went on the Sophomore Pilgrimage, Student of the Year, Post-Dispatch Athlete of the Week, and just this past couple days, she was named the Female Athlete of the Year for the Journal. She is 18th in her class, has a 3.89 grade-point average. I've been privileged to coach this young lady for 6 years. I had her in junior high up through the high school. She's a 5-time All-Stater. She has been one of the top district runners for the last 3 years. This year she's actually stepped up the gas a little bit, and she is probably the premier mile or 2-miler in the state of Missouri. At the present time, she's undefeated, and we go into our sectionals this next week, and I expect that to go into state that way. Just done.
Next up from Farmington High School, we have Willis Gundner to make a presentation.
Coach would be up here for about an hour talking about Justa, because if you've never been to a track meet before and watched Justa run, it's just unbelievable. She doesn't do it, just ever so often. She does it week in, week out. She does it in 4 events. She's just unbelievable. I have the pleasure here, though, to introduce another young lady here to the Dream Team, and her name is Moni Spinger. Moni was born and lives in Germany. She's from Berlin. Anki Spinger and Bernard Wirtz are her. I probably didn't pronounce it very good in German, German, by the way, she just laughed at me. I told her, I said, if she's really nice, I'll let her come up here. I know KREI and KTJJ, they have a wide area to cover, but I said I'd let her talk to her mom and dad. She could say hi to the radio station. But anyway, Moni is a foreign exchange student. We've had the opportunity to move into our area here in Farmington. Her sponsor parents are Roger and Nancy Zertan. When Moni first came over, Jackie Pinkston said, well, we have a young lady here who might be interested in running cross country. And she's never run over 400 meters before. That's all she's ever trained for over there in Germany. And, we talked to her to come out cross country, and she qualified for the state cross country meet this year and did quite well. Her accomplishments in track and field this year, so far, she's run a 5:17 mile. She's run a 2:21.5 mile, and she's run 59.8. This was on the mile relay just the other day. And she's also a pretty good sprinter there with 27.1 in the 200 meters. She's a very disciplined young lady. Once we kind of talked her into running cross country, she decided she'd like to get up and start running in the morning. And unfortunately, I live close to her, and she asked me to start running with her. And it was quite an experience. Here you see Moni running down the road, and then my dogs, and then here I come. I got to catch me on the way back. Good thing I had that old dog named Sparky. He's about 12 years old. She's a role model for our people over there on the track program. She leads our team and patting people on the back. She's the winner of our Hale Trophy. She scored more points than a senior on our team this year. She's NAAA conference champion, 1,600 meter, and also a 400 meter run this year. She's an honor student, and her future plans is to come back to the United States in the future and hope to run. She hopes to run track and field in America. Now,
Folks, I got the idea that Moni was pretty fast when I saw her the other day at the Farmington Civic Center, and she passed me up. Not that that's a big deal, but I was driving home in my car at the time. Next up, from Custis High School, I believe we have Coach Wright, who has an athlete that he'd like to introduce on the team.
I'm behalf of Festus High School and Coach Buck, I'd like to present to you Adrian Bish. I don't think people realize how fast Adrian Bish is until they see her run the 4x100. She usually gets the baton, and she's usually about a third or fourth. And that's when she gets that look in her eyes, and that's the look you better watch out. Because that's when she's going to catch you and she's going to pass you. And more times than not, she has passed those people and finished first. She has not lost one race in the 100-meter dash this year. She's only lost 2 races in the 200 meters. She's been in the state 3 years. She was 5th at the state in 1996. She is one of the top 100 Afro-American athletes in the St. Louis area. She won the 100 3 years and the 200 2 years at the district meet. She's anchored the 4x100, which finished 2nd at district. She anchored the 4x200, which finished 3rd. Off the track, she has a 3.6 GPA. She's the treasurer of the Advanced Spanish Club. She's also the student council representative and next year's president. She's been in the varsity club for 3 years. She was also the homecoming candidate as a junior. She's a member of the Trend. She's also been a member of the Jefferson County Track Jets for 4 years. She's also a cheerleader, so you can see she's pretty busy running around the sides on the track. One thing I've noticed about her is she does take a leadership role in track, which is very important. She's very dedicated to the sport, which I like to see as a former track runner. She's always a joy to watch. And she's also been elected as the Dow Chemical Student of the Month. I would like to present to you Adrian Bish.
Our next school represented is Perryville High School. I believe we have Coach Craig Connect, who has an athlete.
I'd like to take this chance to thank the radio for doing this and all the parents. We all know here that it takes a lot of work to be a champion on the field and also a champion in the classroom. And it's my honor to introduce Celeste here, who's done both. She's the daughter of Dave and Kathy Ramsey. Some of her accomplishments, there's so dang many of them. She gave me a picture of her senior picture, and I had to ask her where she was because there were so many awards there, so I tried to shrink them down. She's been to state 4 times in cross country, and this year she became a champion of that. She's working on her 3rd trip to the state track meet this year. Her events are the 1 mile, the 2 mile, and she was a big help in the 2 mile relay for us. She's been voted the Perryville Athlete of the Year, which was a heck of an honor for her. She's going to be running at Southeast Missouri State as a scholarship athlete there for their track and cross-country team. Her academics, she's a valedictorian of her class. She's going to girls' state, so as you can see, she's done her homework too. As a team player in track, sometimes we think it's an individual sport, but as we all know, it takes a lot of guts for all those kids to come out there and compete. Anytime they're out there on the track, that's not easy, and having the coaches yell at them, go faster and push them, sometimes they get down, and Celeste was always there to pick them back up. I was a first-year coach this year in the track program there, and she made it pretty easy whenever they didn't know what to do. I just said, look and see, and do what she does, because she gets the job done. So I'd like to, again, congratulate her and her parents on a great job.
Our next school represented on our girls track dream team is Valley of St. Genevieve, and Nancy Fisher is here to introduce her athlete.
On behalf of Valley Catholic High School, I'd like to extend my thanks to KREI KTJJ for sponsoring this award ceremony and also for their support of high school activities throughout the school year. I'd also like to extend our congratulations to all the athletes and their parents who are here this evening. It is my privilege to introduce Nikki Klein, a senior at Valley Catholic and the daughter of Jim and Carol Klein. Nikki has been an outstanding track participant and a scholar at Valley for 4 years. She has a 4.02 GPA and is fourth in the class of 39. In track this season, she was all conference in the 100-meter high hurdles, the 300-meter low hurdles, the shot put, and the 4x400-meter relay. She was district champion in the 2 hurdle events this past weekend, and she has qualified for state in 4 events, the 2 hurdle events, the shot put, and the 4x400 relay. As a sophomore, Nikki was all-state in 4 events, and as a junior, she was all-state in 3 events. This season, she is undefeated in the 100-meter high hurdles, and we look forward to watching her this weekend, and hopefully she can continue that unbeaten streak throughout the weekend. She's an MAAA Scholar Athlete and a 2-year Dream Team member. She plans to attend Lindenwood College on a volleyball scholarship and also a track scholarship in which she will compete in the heptathlon. Valley Catholic's Nikki Klein.
How about a nice round of applause for our girls? We move from girls track to boys track, and we want to bring Coach Wright back up because he has some members on the boys track dream team as well. Busy night for you, Coach.
On behalf of Essex High School, I would like to present A.J. Smith. He was not able to be with us tonight, but some of the things that he has done, he went to state as a sophomore and was on the 4x200 team that finished second that year at the state meet. He also was in the triple jump that year. This year, he had a really good season. He finished second in the triple jump this year at the district meet, and he was also on the 4x100 meters men's team that will go also. I'd like to present to you A.J. Smith.
We'd like to bring back up Bill Martin from North County. He has some members on the track dream team.
It's my pleasure to stand up for Coach Matt Howard of North County High School in honoring Russ Dotson. Russ is the 18-year-old son of Chris and Ralph Dotson of Terre de Lac. Russ is a member of the Letterman's Club, National Honor Society, and he's in the top 20% of his class. When he's not playing sports, he's probably one of the best school spirit leaders we have. He's always at the basketball, volleyball games, cheering on the others. And I have him in a trig class, and I tell you what, he's just fun to be around. He's a really nice guy and a very good student. He also plays a mean game of football, as he was all conference and all district. Played running back on our Final Four football team. He played a great game in the semifinal game. Some of our other players were hurt, and Russ stepped in and did a great job. Russ is a 2-time All-State track and field performer. He's a co-MVP of our track team. He holds our school record in the 100-meter dash, and also the school is he's on the school record holding relay teams in the 4x1, 4x2, and 4x4. He's been all conference in 4 events in each of the last 2 years. He's a member of 2 relay teams that have set the conference record. And he helped lead us to the 3rd place state track championship last year and this year's district champs. Coach Howard wanted me to say that Russ is outstanding in the individual events, but his presence on our relay teams is wonderful. I think he's one of the main reasons we were able to achieve what we did in last year's state meet. Being on a relay team is very special. You have to maybe bring your level up a little bit more because a lot of people are depending on you, and Russ does that all the time. We're going to have the 3A sectional over at North County on Saturday, and if you hear somebody come across the finish line and yell, that'll be Russ Dotson. He came to us from a high school in Iowa, Comanche High School. I always thought it was Comanche, but he told me it was Comanche. And they taught him to run real well. He ran there his freshman and sophomore years, and they taught him to scream like a Comanche when he won. Russ is going to be going to Iowa State University next year. I'm very proud, and North County is very proud of Russell Dotson. This next young man, Brandon McIntyre, is very special to me. I've known him since he was just a few weeks old. I held him when he was a few weeks old, and I've seen him grow up to be a fine young man and a great athlete. We feel he is one of the greatest athletes that we've ever had in North County in a lot of sports. Brandon is the 18-year-old son of Ken and Betty McIntyre. I want to tell you something about Brandon. He had an accident this year at a cross-country meet and had a serious problem with his heart for a while. And, he was wondering, he had a lot of doubts how he would make it throughout the year. He came back strong in basketball and is even stronger in track. And he wondered for a time if he had lost some of his ability because of his heart problems. And what I'd like to say to Brandon is his heart is sitting right out here in the audience, and his parents and his grandparents, and his heart is big and fine now, and he's doing a great job for us. He's a National Honor Society student. He's in the top 10% of his class. He's in the student council. He's in the Letterman's Club. Like I said, he was in a lot of sports at North County. He was an all-state performer in cross-country his junior year. He helped lead 3 cross-country teams to second-place finishes in the state cross-country meet. In basketball, he was a great basketball player. He was all-conference and all-district, and just plays a great game of basketball. In track, he's our co-MVP. He's an all-state performer. He's a state champion. The greatest honor you can win in Missouri. He's the 800-meter state champion, coming back this year to defend his title. He's been all-conference in 5 different events, the 400, the 800, the 4x2, 4x4, and long jump. He won 4 of those at the conference track meet. He's been all-district. He's been all-state 4 times in track. He holds our school records in the 400, the 800, the 4x2, and the 4x4 relay. As a junior, he was 4th at the Kansas relays. Ran a great race up there. When he was a freshman, I heard his parents say, they walked by the trophy case and said, I wonder if our little boy's picture will ever be in that trophy case. Well, 4 years have passed in a hurry, and their young man's picture is going to be in there several times. Brandon McIntyre, North County.
From Perryville High School, we want to bring up Craig Kanaka one more time.
Again, I'd like to thank everybody. It gives me a great sense of pride to introduce this next young man. His name is Ryan Layton. He's a senior at Perryville. He's the son of James and Janice Layton. He is another one of these track athletes that has mountains of medals and awards. Some of his major accomplishments have been, he's gone to state 4 times in cross country. He's been to state 4 times in track. He was a member of the championship 2-mile relay team. His events this year are the mile, the 2-mile, and he helps out a lot on that 2-mile relay. He was voted Perryville's Athlete of the Year on the men's side, which is a great honor. He is going to be a scholarship athlete at Southeast Missouri State. He's going to run track down there and cross country also. In the classroom, he's a 3.0 cumulative grade point, and he's been on the A honor roll several times. Again, he, as a teammate and a competitor, he's one of the best I've ever seen. He's a true senior. He never gets worked up in a race. People might be ahead of him. He just stays relaxed. He knows how to run a race. He's like having another coach out there on the track, and God knows I don't have all the answers, and he probably has more than I do. And he was another one of these athletes we could just point to and say, watch him, because he knows how to get the job done. And he's going to sectionals this weekend in North County, and God willing, he'll move right on the state like he's done in the past. So congratulations to him and his family again.
Our last school represented on the boys track dream team this year is St. Genevieve, and we have Al Engelman here for that.
On behalf of St. Genevieve High School, it's my privilege to introduce to you Jeremy Staffen, son of Bill and Diane Staffen. Jeremy is a sectional qualifier in the 200 and 400 meter dashes, and he's also a sectional qualifier in the 800 and 1600 meter relay teams. Jeremy's strongest event this year is the 200, in which he took first at the Rebel Relays, also at the Old Settlement Invitational, St. Genevieve Invitational, the Farmington Simpson Relays, and also at the conference meet. He placed second in this event at the district meet, breaking our school record with a time of 22.4 seconds. Jeremy was also a member of last year's 800 meter relay team that placed 8th at state and broke our school record with a time of 1:31.64. That same group of guys will be trying to make it to state again this weekend. Hopefully they can get their time down and make the trip. Jeremy's posted all conference performances in the 200 and 400 meter dashes, also in the 3 relays, the 400, the 800, and the 1600 meter relays. Jeremy's a classic example of hard work paying off. An illustration of how dedicated he is to excellence is that for the last 2 years, Jeremy has come to school early every morning just to lift weights. It's to this extra strength that he attributes much of his success. Not only did his weight training help him in track, it also helped him to be better at football and wrestling. Jeremy's a 3-year letterman in football, playing fullback and linebacker, and also a 2-year letterman in wrestling, in which he was a sectional qualifier. I present to you Jeremy Stafford.
And we present to you our boys track dream team for this year. Next up is our baseball dream team, and this one's kind of tough every year because each and every year we have some teams that are still playing, some athletes on the teams that are either out on the field right now competing or have just wrapped things up, so we're really not sure if some of these athletes and or coaches are going to be there, but it's kind of like an excused absence if they aren't here. But let's move on anyway, because we do want to recognize them for being named to our baseball dream team by the area coaches. And our first athlete is Matt Brown from Crystal City High School. And I believe he is playing tonight, but his coach, Jeff Klaus, did send me something today over the fax machine, and I wanted to read it to you because it says a lot about how he feels about Matt. Matt is one of those very rare student athletes that only comes around once in a long time. His achievements on and off the field are outstanding and something that he takes pride in. Matt has worked hard to overcome being shadowed by many fine athletes in his class. His achievements include all-conference, all-district, all-metro, and all-state in football in '96 and '97, all-conference and all-districts in baseball in '96. If Matt wasn't playing with such a fine group of players, he would surely have had more awards, as would the rest of his team. It's a real shame that the players are chosen by their teams they play on and not against their state. Matt also would like to give credit to the players he plays with that pushed him so hard. Matt's currently considering playing for Illinois Wesleyan on a football and baseball scholarship. And Coach Klaus went on to say he'd like to thank the Dream Team sponsors for such a nice way of showing appreciation for their time and effort that these young men and women put in. So Matt Brown is our first member of our Dream Team. Now our second member listed on your folder is also not here. He's playing today as well, and that is Travis Barron. He is a senior at Farmington High School, the son of Jefferson and Kathy Barron. And in fact, Coach Walton came by the radio station today and apologized for not being there, but they are playing, and they're probably on their way back now from their district baseball game. But Travis is a first-team all-conference baseball and AAA conference performer. He's been selected to play in the Missouri High School Baseball Coaches East-West 4A All-Star Game June 15th at the University of Missouri. He's the Farmington Senior Male Student Athlete of the Year. He signed a letter of intent to play baseball next year at Mineral Area College. He led Farmington this season in a number of different categories: singles, doubles, and RBIs. He's 7-3 as a pitcher, 75 strikeouts this season against only 22 walks. So we did also want to recognize Travis Barron as well as Matt Brown, who are playing today. Next up Our next school represented on the Dream Team is Hillsborough High School, and I believe Coach Felker is here, and we're going to have him come down and introduce his players.
I would first of all like to introduce Will Baker, son of Butch and Tanya Baker. Will is a 4-year starter at Hillsborough. In fact, as I was listening to a couple of the other coaches, I started thinking that Will probably has played in fact, probably started every game of his high school career going over those 4 years. Will has a widely varied interest. He likes to play catcher, likes to play shortstop, likes to play third base, likes to hit, likes to run the bases. The only thing we never did get around to doing was letting him pitch. He bugged me about that quite a bit this year, and I have no doubt that he would have done that well also if I had found the opportunity to let him. In terms of statistics, one season, his senior year this year, 90 at-bats, 38 runs scored, 55 hits. That works out to his .611 batting average for the season. That is extremely outstanding. In fact, I believe that hit total is the leading hit total for the entire metro St. Louis area. Had 2 games in a row where he had 4 hits in each game. In one of those games he hit for the cycle and finished with a .453 career batting average. And in fact, also this year, of our 27 ball games, Will have at least 1 hit in 26 of those 27 games. And usually with 55 hits, he had more than 1. Will is a second-year member of the Dream Team. He will be going to Columbia June 15th to play in the East-West 4A All-Star game. And he is going to Forest Park Community College to play baseball to continue his career. As with many of these other athletes, I believe that the records and the stats are not the true measure of Will's career. The character, the dedication, the leadership, competitiveness that he brought to our program is something that I have shown our younger players and told them, again, this is an example that you can follow in the future. Will Baker. I would also like to introduce Chris Gruey, son of Mark and Helen Gruey. Chris finished this season with a 7-3 pitching record, a 1.59 earned run average, had 71 strikeouts and only 15 walks in 57 innings. Finished his career with a 13-6 record and a 1.66 earned run average. Chris is also going to Columbia on June 15th to play in the East-West 4A All-Star game, and he is also going to Forest Park Community College to continue his baseball career. I would say the same thing about Chris in terms of leadership, dedication, work habits. These 2 guys have set an example that I feel will carry over for the next several years and help our program to continue to have success. Chris Gruey.
Josh Portell from the Toasties on our Dream Team, and when I did my Dream Team interview with him, he said he was looking forward to talking with some of the different athletes on the team, including Will Baker, something about hitting a home run in the first game of the season against him. And I don't know if he's had a chance to talk to you about that or not, but he said he wanted to. Our next school represented on our baseball Dream Team is North County High School. And boy, it's like the you're like the Emmy Awards here. You're Tom Hanks. You're up for the 3rd time here, Coach Bill Martin.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to stand in for Coach Steve Pasternak. Coach Pasternak's done a great job for us this year and all years in our baseball program. He's scouting tonight down at Dexter. We're fortunate enough to be in the state baseball tournament next week, and he's scouting the teams, New Madrid and Kennett, the winner of that game. We're playing next Thursday. His first baseball player that I want to introduce is P.J. Jones again. Gives me great pleasure to get to do this twice in one night. P.J. is the son of Phil Jones, Debbie Jones of Deloge. As I said before, he's an all-sport athlete at North County High School. He has a 9.628 grade point average on an 11-point scale. I've given you a lot of his other honors in football and basketball. In baseball, he was a first-team MAAA all-conference player, which made him all-conference in all three sports. He was also all-district in baseball, and that made him all-district in all three sports. His statistics include in hitting 22 out of 63, 12 runs scored, 8 doubles, 1 home run with a batting average of .349. In fielding, he has 8 putouts, 22 assists, no errors, and his fielding percentage is 1,000. He also has the dirtiest uniform on the team because he gets on the ground a lot because he hustles so well. PJ's been selected to play in the East-West game in Columbia. Coach Pasternak's comments about PJ is he says he's the best catcher he's ever coached. He's very intimidating behind the plate. He's an excellent receiver with an excellent arm. PJ has been a varsity player at North County since freshman, has improved every year. PJ is our field general, and his hard work behind the plate plays a big part in the success of our pitching staff and our team. It's going to be hard to replace PJ. We just won't replace him. There'll just be somebody else step in there and catch next year. But his leadership and everything we're going to miss. Coach says he's signed to play football down in Southwest Missouri State and also going to play baseball down there. P.J. Jones. This next young man I'm going to introduce, Dan Smith. I tell you what, Dan is also a very versatile athlete at North County. He's very active in student activities. He's a member of the National Honor Society, Student Council, the FTA, and the Letterman's Club. He was North County's Mayo Scholar Athlete of the Year, ranking in the top 20% of his class. He's the 18-year-old son of Joe and LaDonna Smith of Deloge. I'd like to thank his parents for being great supporters of North County athletes in all the sports, and especially thank his mother, LaDonna. You don't know this, but she feeds half the kids at North County before a ball game. She even feeds some of the coaches every once in a while. They go over to her house, and I tell you what, she's real special to all the athletes at North County. Dan currently has a grade point average of 9.950 out of 11. In football, he was one of the leaders on our football team. He was all-conference, all-district quarterback one year, and all-conference, all-district, all-state receiver the next. So that shows you how versatile he is on the football field. He helped lead the team to the conference championship and a 12-1 record and into the semifinals of the state. In basketball, he was an outstanding player for 4 years, played on the varsity team for 4 years, and was all-conference, all-district, and just did a great job for me on the basketball floor. In baseball, his 1997 honors include first-team MAAA all-conference player, first-team all-district, and he was North County High School's MVP baseball player. He's helped lead his baseball team to 3 conference and 1 district championship, which was North County's first. His hitting, he scored 17 runs, 1 double, 1 triple, 3 home runs, 20 walks. He's very patient at the plate, does a good job getting on base, and has a batting average of .316. In pitching, he's pitched 44 innings, allowed only 4 runs, 3 which are earned, 21 hits, 15 walks, and 67 strikeouts. His record is 7 wins with 1 loss and 1 save. His ERA is 0.47. He's also a great hitter. One time this year, I was watching a game and he put a dent in the Valley bus that was parked out behind the bench, so the bus from St. Jan has a big dent in it. Another time, Wilson Rosier's Park, that's a tremendously big field over there, and he not only knocked it out of the park, he knocked it over the house that sits behind the fence. So, and that was in our conference tournament this year. Yesterday, he pitched a great game, one of the most outstanding games that I've ever been around and been associated with. He just kind of picked up North County's team and carried it on his back for about 5 or 6 innings. Coach says Dan has matured as a pitcher since a freshman, and he had his best year this year. At 6'4", he has intimidated the opponents with his excellent fastball and curveball. He has allowed only one run in his last 40 innings pitched since his first game of the year. Dan's been a varsity player since a freshman and has improved every year, and he loves baseball. Dan has a bright future in baseball, and I predict he will play college and/or pro ball. And it's going to be hard to replace Dan. Dan's another one you won't replace. And every match of the year he's had so far this year. Dan has signed an athletic scholarship at the University of Miami to play football and basketball. He's also been contacted by a couple major league teams who's interested in getting him in the draft. So, but it looks like right now he's probably going to go to Miami. Dan Smith, North County High School.
Our next school represented on the Dream Team tonight is Perryville High School. And Dennis, are you here? Yes, you are.
On behalf of Coach Dennis Glick, our baseball coach, who couldn't be here, on a committee for our selection of 3A all-district team. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Matt Meyer, son of David and Rhonda Meyer. Matt was our football team's quarterback this year. He was also an outstanding basketball player for me this year. Many times was the inspiration that got us a late rally to win some basketball games. But he's here tonight due to his accomplishments in baseball. Matt's batting average was currently today, going into today's action, .466, so I'm sure it's higher now. This year he has hit 8 home runs out of his total 34 hits a season. His average, his number of hits and homers are all records this season at Perryville. Career baseball records at BHS are highest batting average at .462. Most career hits with 61. Most career runs with 53. Most career home runs with 11. Matt is involved in National Honor Society. He's a varsity club member. He's played football and basketball and baseball all 4 years in high school. He ranks 8th in his class out of 213 students. And Matt's future plans are to be determined. He has a football scholarship with Missouri Western and baseball scholarships to Forest Park and Jefferson County Community College. So whatever Matt's future, we wish him the best of luck. Matt Meyer.
Next up, we have Dennis Lawson from Potosi High School, who has a couple of players on this year's Dream Team.
I want to thank J98 again for honoring these young men. They put in a lot of hard work. I want to introduce Josh Portell first. He's the son of Randy and Kathy Portell. Josh, he lettered 3 years in football. He was all conference, all district in football this year. Most importantly, Josh is a member of the 94 and 96 3A state championship team. He started as a freshman on the 94 team. He DH'd for us that year, so he's probably got more at-bats than anyone's played at Potosi High School. He was all conference, all district in baseball last year, and he's all conference and all district this year in baseball. When he was a sophomore, he led the team with 32 RBIs. As a junior, he only struck out 2 times while batting, having at-bats of 80. This season, his batting average was .471, scored 16 runs, 23 RBIs, 7 doubles, 1 triple, 3 home runs, and 5 stolen bases. Early in the year, he pulled a hamstring against Valley Caledonia. Really never fully recovered from that because he's got excellent speed and he's a great base runner. He's a member of the varsity club. He's also selected to participate in the Missouri State High School Baseball Coaches Association All-Star Game. It's 3A, June 14th in Columbia. I'm going to be coaching that game because of our state championship last year. Several coaches have mentioned that their athletes are like friends to them. They'll be friends the rest of their life. Well, Josh is like a son to me. He's been around for a long time. He and Jared, my son, are very good friends. Josh spends many nights at my house. He knows all our little secrets. Hopefully he won't go out and tell everybody. But he's a great kid. He has a future in baseball. We haven't really decided where he's going to go, but he'll be playing baseball for someone next year. Again, I'm so proud of Josh Portell, his accomplishments, and he's been a great leader for our baseball program. He has 2 state championships. Usually we've had 4 district championships in a row this year. I can attest, Mr. Dan Smith last night, he was great. He got stronger as the game went on. I think we could have played 20 innings, and I don't think we'd have scored. He did a tremendous job, and hopefully North County will go south and beat those guys down there like we have for the past 4 years. And I think they have a great opportunity to change their lives. Anytime you get to Columbia and you're fortunate enough to win that thing, and we did against 2 tremendous programs. Josh was a member in '94 when we beat Sullivan 10-0. No one gave us a chance to beat those guys. We had a little pitcher that went out through a no-hitter against Sullivan. They were the favorite team. And then last year, the best 3A state baseball program in the state, I guess, Elias of Jefferson City. They won 3 state championships, and we were able to beat them 5-4. And I know Josh is going to take those memories with him the rest of his life. Josh Portell. Mr. Merrill's not here, but I used to play basketball against him. Well, there he is. And I was thinking, boy, we're getting old. You've got a daughter and I've got a son on the dream team, and we used to battle on the basketball court from middle school on up to high school, and I didn't think it was that long ago that, you guys had a great basketball team when I was playing against you. I don't know. Anyway, I'd like to introduce Jared. He's my son. He's the son of Marcia. His mother, who has supported this team for 7 years. I've been the head coach for 7 years, and she's been with us all the way. And Jared is, he was a quarterback of the football team. He got second team all-conference, all-district on football. He played on the basketball team. I think he averaged about 17 points per game. During the '96 season, Jared was just a sophomore. He batted .386. He had 6 wins and 1 loss. He pitched in all 6 games. Leading up to the state championship game. We kind of went with him for like 4 or 5 innings, and then we had a left-hander, Ryan Brandstetter, who came in. We bounced him back and forth and worked for 6 games, and he did a fantastic job last year and got the game-winning RBI. There's bases loaded, 1 out. It's a 4-4 ball game in the bottom of the 7th. He got a base hit to win the game against Elias. And Jared and I and my family's going to remember that the rest of our lives. This year, he's 10-2 on the mound. He lost in a 13-inning game with North County earlier in the year. He pitched 68 2/3 innings. He walked only 26 batters. He struck out 124 batters in less than 69 innings. That's incredible. That's a record at our high school. The other record was 116 in 90 innings. So when he goes to the mound, most of the time we think we have a pretty good chance to win. His ERA was 1.33. He batted .410, had 34 hits. He scored 13 runs, 26 RBIs, 3 doubles, 2 triples, and 2 home runs. Did 11 walks. Jared is a member of the National Honor Society, ranks 24th in class of 206. He's a member of the Varsity Club and the Foreign Language Club. And I think I told J98, they asked him which foreign language club, and he said Spanish club, I believe, and they asked him to say a few words in Spanish. He said, well, I can't really say much in Spanish, but he's going to do a better job in Spanish 3 next year, I'm sure. But I'm very proud of these 2 men. I want to mention we've got 4 other seniors who are graduating: Jason Tebow, Josh Alshon, Jamie Brown, Nick Maxwell. And I know Josh wanted me to say something about those young men. And also Jason Tebow is going to be in the All-Star Series also with Josh. Like I said, we're very proud of these guys. They've got 2 state championships in the last 3 years, and that's a pretty incredible feat for a team to win that many games. And during Josh's career, he's won 79 games and we've only lost 20. So he's an outstanding player and he's a team leader, and we're going to miss him in the next few years. Dream teamers from the coast, Jared Lawson.
Our next coach is Mike Sherry from St. Genevieve, and you can see one of his former players on the television every now and then as Steve Beazer continues to do good things with the New York Mets, and who knows, we could have the next Steve Beazer coming up here now, or he could be up here already.
Well, thanks a lot, Mark. For the radio station, I'd just like to say I can't speak for all the especially the AAA conference coaches, but the St. Genevieve coaches are really thrilled to come over here every year when we're privileged enough to get athletes and that are involved with the Dream Team Banquet. This is not a meal to us. It's truly an honor to be here. We certainly feel blessed to be able to come to the Dream Team Banquets every year, and we just hope you keep it up. We certainly want to thank KTJJ, and I want to talk about St. Genevieve baseball, and especially a St. Genevieve baseball player. We feel very fortunate when we can do this. And I also think that the coaches make great selections this year. This is probably one of the better Dream Teams that I can remember. Tonight it's my pleasure to introduce Kevin Winston. He's the son of Bob and Joyce Winston. And believe me that these two parents have invested a lot of love and time in their son, more than you can ever imagine. Never been much on statistics, but I'll shoot you a few. Kevin is hitting .457. He's 5 hits shy of the 500, of being 500. He had 70 at-bats and 32 hits. He had 6 doubles. As our leadoff man, he stole 20 bases and was not thrown out this year. He has 16 walks as a leadoff man, and kind of incredibly, he has 18 RBIs as a leadoff man. He has 3 assists from the outfield. He's thrown 3 people out at the plate, and as a pitcher, he has 3 saves. Kevin, as far as his future goes, he's made visits to St. Louis U, where he'll probably play baseball next year. This opportunity to be a Dream Team member certainly hasn't come by accident with Kevin. He's kind of redefined my endurance aspect as a coach. He hits every morning before school in our indoor cage. He hits every afternoon after school in our indoor cage. And he hits at practice every day that we have practice. Probably, as far as Kevin's game goes, he loves to hit a baseball. So he works hard at it, and he certainly has come by it honestly. He certainly has a great work ethic as a baseball player, and he has an abundance of talent. But I think the best thing about him is he's such a great kid. At St. Genevieve, he's helped our program for 4 years. This year, he's led us to 13th finish in the conference, second place finish in the conference tournament, semifinal berth in the district tournament that we lost yesterday, and he's had an undying influence on every player that we've had. Maybe the only player that's had more influence is Steve Beazer, who's come in over the winter, and we'll hit in the cage, and all the kids are around watching him. Certainly their eyes are large, and I'd say to all the athletes here, I don't know how many of you folks remember Steve Beazer, but he was never a member of the Dream Team. When he was a senior in high school, he asked me if he'd be able to catch, and I said, Steve, if you weigh 135 pounds, I'll let you catch, otherwise I'm going to put you somewhere else. Well, he wrestled for Coach Howard at 119, and we started practice a week later. So he came in and he said, well, I'm ready, Coach. I think I weigh that much. So we jumped up on the scale, and I just kind of slid it by 130 pounds. And I said, that's close enough. And it was probably the best thing I've ever done. Because believe me, you guys have as much talent as Steve did. He's just an incredibly hard worker. And he just told himself that he was going to get there. So he stayed for 9 years in the minor leagues. And through some shrewd work and a little bit of calculation, he was able to put himself in the right spot, and it truly is a dream come true. I'm talking to him on the phone.
Introduce Mr. Jonathan Wanger, the son of Mike and Terry Wanger. I threatened him on the way down here that if he'd stay another year, I wouldn't embarrass him up here. Jonathan's been a great athlete at St. Vincent's. He was our male athlete of the year. He was a member of the football dream team, basketball dream team, and now the baseball dream team.
He's won numerous all-conference, all-district in football, basketball, and in baseball. If there was any kind of sport I'd ever coach, I definitely want him on my team. Just a tremendous all-around athlete. His statistics for this season, he was 36 of 72 at-bats for even 500. He scored 32 runs. He had 23 RBIs, 8 doubles, 4 triples, and 3 home runs. He had 18 stolen bases and was only caught stealing once. His on-base percentage was .643, and his slugging percentage was .847. We tease Jonathan a lot, Coach Valroy and I, about being AC for assistant coach. And this year in baseball, we started 2 freshmen and 4 sophomores, and he truly was my assistant coach. And I'd like to introduce to you Jonathan Weiner.
Our next school represented on our dream team is Windsor High School. And I'm not sure if Coach Weiss is here or not. I know he was involved in the district tournament, and he had to stay on to represent his team in the all-district team, which was being announced. But I know that Corey Lawson is here. We do want to introduce him. Corey Lawson on the season is batting .446. He has an on-base percentage of .506. He scored 26 runs, driven in 24 runs. He has 6 doubles and 4 home runs on the year. As a pitcher, he's only allowed 2 earned runs on the season. He has 2 wins, 20 strikeouts in 12 1/3 innings. He's also the captain of Windsor's team this year. He's a member of the National Honor Society as well. He's the son of Wayne and Chris Lawson, and it's our pleasure to introduce Corey Lawson from Windsor High School. And this is our baseball dream team. We'd like to introduce now our baseball player of the year. Our baseball player of the year is a 2-time Dream Team selection, and he's one of the premier players in his conference. As a senior, he's anchored his team at the plate and behind the plate. He's hitting well over .500. He leads his conference in hitting at .584, runs with 38, and is second in stolen bases with 20. He also ranks among the best in the St. Louis metro area in batting average. Our baseball player of the year is the son of John and Tanya Baker. He's Will Baker from Hillsborough High School. We'd also like to announce our baseball coach of the year. Our coach of the year helped to lead his team to another conference championship season. Our coach of the year is a strong believer of, quote, winning is secondary to hard work. If you work hard enough and long enough, winning takes care of itself, unquote. He began his successful coaching career 21 years ago and has boasted 20 seasons with a .500 record or better. He's helped lead his club to conference and district titles and advanced to the state quarterfinals last season. This season, the club won 16 games and seeded first in its district tournament. Our coach of the year is dedicated to not only coaching but to teaching as well. He's helped over 30 young people to continue their education through baseball scholarships. 4 of these young men were later named All-Americans. His greatest accomplishments are far removed from the competition of the baseball diamonds. He says his greatest accomplishments are my 2 sons, Tamiko and Zachary. Our KREI, KTJJ, KJFF Dream Team Baseball Coach of the Year is Dave Weiss of Windsor High School. I believe 4 or 5 players that made the all-district team, and he really is a team-oriented kind of guy. He didn't want to put the needs of 4 players ahead of 1, but he did really want to say congratulations to Corey, and best of luck to all the Dream Team. So again, another round of applause for our baseball Dream Team. This is one of our favorite parts of the of the Dream Team Banquet is when we get to talk about good grades, something which not a lot of us at the radio station had to worry about an awful lot when we were in school. Not that we were great athletes either, with the exception of Steve Bessemer. And again, this year we are recognizing our Dream Team athletes who not only excel in athletics, but also are among the best in their class academically. Now, several of the senior athletes here tonight will be eligible for our Boys and Girls Scholar Athlete of the Year awards, as well as senior Dream Team honorees in volleyball and football. Tonight, we'd not only like to salute those seniors from the basketball, wrestling, track, and baseball Dream Teams who are finalists for Scholar Athlete Awards, but also to mention some of the others at the top of their class academically, and they include in girls basketball, Katie Dilo from Herculaneum, who has a GPA of 4.0, ranks first in her class. Also, Carrie Harbison from Valley R6 with a GPA of 3.71, she ranks 6th. Lindsay Merrill from Fredericktown has a grade point average of 4.2, ranked 2nd in her class. Jamie Miller from DeSoto, a grade point average of 4.05. That's good enough for a class ranking of 3rd. Jennifer Miller from Arcadia Valley. She has a GPA of 8.8. She's a junior, by the way. She's ranked 19th in her class. Amanda Ritter from Bunker is a senior. She is ranked number 1 in her class. And Kelly Smith from Arcadia Valley, she's a senior with a GPA of 10.3, that ranks 10. In boys basketball, we want to mention Larry Goodman from Bismarck. He has a GPA of 9.7, that ranks him 7th in his class. In wrestling, Clint Wolk of St. Genevieve has a GPA of 10.5, that ranks 6th. Rick Stark from Northwest has a GPA of 3.9, that ranks 14th. In girls track, Justa Dahl from DeSoto has a GPA of 3.82. That's good enough for a class ranking of 18th. Nikki Klein from Valley Catholic has a GPA of 4.02. She's ranked 4th in her class. Celeste Ramsey from Perryville, a GPA of 3.94. That's a number 4 ranking in her class. And Moni Finger from Farmington has a GPA of 3.8. That's a class rank in the top 10%. In boys track, Brandon McIntyre from North County has a GPA of 10.3. That's ranked in the top 6% of his class. And in baseball, Matt Meyer from Perryville, a GPA of 3.88 for a class rank of 7. So how about a round of applause for these athletes? Now we have our Scholar Athletes of the Year. We wanted to introduce our girls and boys Scholar Athletes. Any senior who's a member of our Dream Teams being honored here tonight, as well as those who are on our volleyball and football Dream Teams, are eligible for this award. The Scholar Athlete of the Year award has been a part of our Dream Team Awards presentation since 1989. It takes into account a student's performance in both athletics and academics. Our Girls Scholar Athlete of the Year has been a familiar face of these ceremonies in recent years. She's been on the basketball Dream Team 3 times, voted onto the volleyball team this year. She was a co-captain of her volleyball and basketball teams as a sophomore and junior. She was on the all-district team for volleyball twice and basketball 3 times. She's band president and drum major, an officer in the Beta Science and Math clubs, and is the student council president. This young lady's been an assistant editor of the yearbook, a member of the Buddy Varsity and Pep clubs, and her class president for 2 years. She ranks near the top of her senior class at Fredericktown High School with a 4.2 grade point average. She'll attend Washington University in St. Louis this fall and plans on playing basketball for the Lady Bears. Our Girls Scholar Athlete of the Year is the daughter of Larry and Lori Merrill. She's Lindsay Merrill from Fredericktown High School. Next up, our Boys Scholar Athlete of the Year. He's also among the top in his class academically. His many activities include student council, National Honor Society, thespian, and speech. He's also one of a handful of students from his school to be named a DARE role model. And he was also a Mr. DeSoto High School candidate this year. Our award winner is also active in his local Church of God. He was a member of the KREI, KTJJ, KJFF High School Football Dream Team this year, being selected as a defensive lineman by area coaches. He ranks tied for first in his senior class. He'll attend Anderson University of Anderson, Indiana to study Christian ministries. Our boys scholar athlete of the year is the son of Mike and Faye Probst. He's Patrick Probst of DeSoto High School. How about a nice hand for our scholar athlete? It's been a fun year in sports. A lot's going on. Fredericktown, as we look back at girls basketball, won the MAAA conference, regular season and conference title in the Jefferson County Conference. The Perryville Lady Pirates, DeSoto Dragons, and Windsor girls tied for the large school division. Berkey took the small school title. Perryville and Windsor tied for the overall crown. And the Black River Lake Bunker won the overall conference title and conference tournament. District winners included Bunker in 1A, Valley R6 in 2A, and Fredericktown in 3A. In boys basketball, Perryville and DeSoto tied for the overall title, as well as the large school division in the Jefferson County Conference. St. Vincent took the small school title. North County went undefeated in the MAAA, winning both the conference and conference tournament. The Black River League East Carter won both the conference title and conference tournament. District winners included West County in 2A and Perryville in 3A. The St. Genevieve Dragons placed third in the Class 3A state wrestling competition. MAAA medalists include Josh Buchanan and TJ Hill from Farmington, Clint Woken of the St. Genevieve. Jefferson County medalists included Rick Stark of Northwest and DeSoto's Ryan Seltzer. Wouldn't you know, they were here tonight. In baseball, North County and Potosi were co-conference champions in the MAAA. North County beat St. Gen in the championship game of the conference tournament. In the Jefferson County Conference, Crystal City took the small school division. Windsor took the large school and overall title. In the Gasconade Valley Conference, Steelville grabbed the conference crown, and the Black River League East Carter won the title. Clearwater won the conference tournament. In track, in the Jefferson County Conference, Herculaneum won the boys championship, DeSoto the girls title. In the MAAA, the Farmington Knights won the conference championship. Check this out, for the 9th straight year. St. Genevieve won the boys title. North County took first place in their district meet, as did Windsor and Valley of St. Genevieve. In golf, well, they just completed the state tournament. St. Vincent came in third. Arcadia Valley came in sixth as a team, and Farmington 10th. Brent Bear finished third in his class in the state tournament. Jansen Ringo came in seventh. And in tennis, Festus won the regular season and conference tournament in the Jefferson County Conference, while North County took both in the MAAA conference. So it's been a fun second semester as far as sports go, and that's pretty much going to wrap things up for our dream team. We again want to thank Plank Road Inn for a delicious meal tonight. We want to thank everyone at Mineral Area College for helping us to set up for our dream team banquet tonight. School administrators, we want to thank you a lot. We appreciate everything you do for us. Coaches, we appreciate everything you do, being very cooperative with us as well. And players, athletes, we'd like to thank you, because without you there would be no banquet whatsoever. But most of all, we'd like to thank the parents, and I think they deserve a nice round of applause right now for everything they do. It's been a fun year for high school sports. Our next banquet comes in December. We'll probably see a lot of you here again. Have a great evening, and thanks for attending.